because that'll explain the dangers of being gay too soon. If your son and daughter's gay, now what? A message to the church. Okay?
Vic, let me tell you something. You're playing Vic because, boy, they say, people saying that you really blasphemous, really.
Yeah, but that's what they always do.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Bible said they'll kill you and think they're doing God a favor.
Gentlemen, we have to leave. I know if you all have 2 seconds each for a wrap-up comment. 2 seconds.
I'd just like to say, if anybody out there, you're questioning, you're not sure about your sexuality and this whole thing called life, me and Amart, we have a YouTube channel. It's called Talbert in Flight. That's TALBERT in Flight. You can check it out. We cover all things LGBTIQ, as well as our Sash Bahamas page on YouTube, as well as Sash Bahamas on Facebook and online.
Absolutely. Listen, you all, but obviously, when Victor comes, we will see it. Of course, Victor gonna have to take the lead because he just turned the church upside down. And then people can question to you all. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Facebook audience. I promise I will open the lines almost immediately after we set the foundation and get the conversation going so that you can get your calls in and say whatever you want to say, particularly to Victor, who is really trying to introduce something totally different here, and so a different thought. And so we will continue our conversation next week. In fact, I think next Tuesday, gentlemen, if you all can be ready for that. But stay exactly where you are. Thank you all so much for your phone calls, your text messages, on social media, all of it. Stay exactly where you are. The news at 6 is straight ahead.
The views and opinions expressed on this show or program are not a reflection of the Bahamas Radio Network and, as an extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Hey, this is Dylan D. Mark McKenzie, and we all have a part to play in this crime situation. This crime and this violence is out of range. We got to do something about this. Hey, it's all about knowing where you come from and who we are. We are Bahamians, man. We proud people. We are a Christian nation. This is all about us being who we are, cultural, man. You got to go back to your roots because this thing that's going on, we need to stop it. The crime and violence has to stop.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up first at 6, police investigating the early morning shooting death of a 7-year-old boy. The senior pastor of Montable Church reflecting on his fallen church members killed in that Labor Day tragedy. And dozens of Pinewood residents turned out to get more insight on the proposed 12% VAT increase at a town meeting last evening.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, first at 6. Breaking news just in, a plane went down around 4 p.m. this afternoon. Now, what we can tell you is that 3 people were reported on board the twin-engine Cessna bound for the United States. Chief Investigator of Air Accidents, Delvin Major, told us the plane went down in a wooded area of Rock Sound that is difficult to access. We spoke with the area member of Parliament, Hank Johnson, who said there appears to be no sign of survival. Rescue teams are on the ground as investigations continue. We will bring you the details as they become available in tonight's 7 o'clock newscast. A second-grade student is dead, a man hospitalized, and a manhunt is on for the man responsible for the early morning shooting. Cleopatra Murphy has the details and the family's reaction following the incident that claimed the life of a child.
A family and the community are left in mourning after a young child's life was tragically cut short, virtually on his doorstep, after an alleged drug-involved incident early this morning.
Fellas must see was out here fighting this morning and one ran off. Go get the gun and come back, he's shooting at the next one. But then when he was shooting at, run in the direction of my cousin's house and he went inside those. And when he went inside those, the fella fired at him, that's how the little boy get.
Bullet holes remain in the door and its frame following the shooting that also involved another man. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander says police were called to the scene shortly after 7:30 a.m. about an alleged drug altercation between 2 men.
One of the male produced a firearm and fired several shots at the other male, resulting in him getting hit, shot to the body. At the same time, there was a between 6 to 7 year old boy who was on his way from school to school He had just left his door. Some relative was waiting on him in a vehicle, and he was shot during the crossfire.
Cameron died in hospital shortly after. We'll have more on that shooting in the 7 o'clock newscast. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
A somber day at Columbus Primary School as the news spread of the 7-year-old's death. The child was in the 2nd grade at that school. Principal Patricia Chisholm says the school family participated in counseling sessions as they mourn the death of that young student.
We're really trying to cope here at Columbus, and so we thank God for the amount of prayer persons who extend this morning their condolences. Somebody's child is our child here at Columbus Primary School, and so to get the news to hear your son was shot, I mean, you must grieve.
A memorial will be held for the 7-year-old sometime this week. Principal Chisholm expressed concern about the level of crime in the community and urged residents to seek peaceful solutions to their conflicts.
Instead of someone picking up another gun, they would pick up the word of God. They would hold someone's hand and say it is a better way. And so, yes, we are advocates of peace. We are here for the children. We are here for the teachers. We are here for one another. And so our hearts are grieving today when we hear of another murder.
Police have launched an island-wide manhunt for the man believed to be responsible for that double shooting that claimed 7-year-old Cameron Cooper's life. That man is 32-year-old Johnny St. Luke, a resident of Wilson Track. He is described as medium height, between 5'4" and 5'6" tall, with a dark brown complexion. Anyone with information on his whereabouts should call the police. Health Minister Dr. The Honorable Dwayne Sands giving an update on those persons hospitalized following that Labor Day tragedy. 4 persons were killed and scores injured when the driver of a truck lost control and the vehicle ran into the crowd.
A number of them remain in hospital. They are convalescing as well as can be expected. And so we're grateful that, certainly of the 24 people injured, those that remain in hospital seem to be moving along.
Proposed changes underway for future Labor Day parades, this following the death of 4 females who died after being hit by a truck on that parade. Minister of Labor, Senator the Honorable Dion Folk, says he has already met with leaders of the Trade Union Congress and the National Congress of Trade Unions, Bahamas, on the issue.
As a result of the tragedy that occurred on Friday, the union leaders and executives and indeed the entire nation, we're very concerned about how the parade has been transformed into what it is today. There's a strong feeling among the labor leaders that maybe we need to go back to how it was in the past, but not so many big flatbeds and trucks and the type of music.
A local pastor is reminiscing on the lives of 2 of his church members killed in that Labor Day tragedy. Pastor of Mount Tabor Church, Bishop Neil Ellis, did not focus on the event that led to the deaths of Kathleen Fernander and Tabitha Hay, but rather reflected on the good lives that they both lived.
Tabitha has been a part of our staff for just over 8 years. A stellar employee. As a matter of fact, we just announced her promotion last week. Kathleen has been a member here for at least 11, 12 years. She served as a member of our usher board for 8 years. And about a year and a half ago, she felt the real need to go and offer her assistance to one of our other colleagues here in the city. And she did that, but she never cut off her connection with us.
Bishop Ellis said he met with the victim's family, the driver's mother, and the president of the BPSU, offering spiritual healing and counseling as they try to deal with this tragic loss.
Want to pray for the driver. I've had a chance to sit with him and to counsel with him. He needs our prayers. All 4 of the deceased would be friends or co-workers of the mother. And so we could imagine what that family is dealing with. Some of the members, unfortunately, didn't really know who the 4 people were until they saw the pictures on the screen. And so it was Sunday morning was a difficult time here. It was not like a regular service here in Mount Tabor until maybe 3/4 of the way in.
And still to come, the DPM talks VAT with Pinewood residents. You're watching the news leader first at 6.
BTC is giving the gift of rollover data, plus free unlimited WhatsApp calls, texts, pictures, and videos. Choose from our 1-day plan for $349, 7-day plan for $999, or a 15-day plan for only $29.99. We've even thrown in unlimited BTC to BTC calls and texts. Dial *203# to activate your plan today. Share every moment with BTC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are your monthly bills coming in on top of your holiday bills? It's time for a change. Bundle your bills into one low-rate loan with Commonwealth Bank. Move your high-rate loans and credit card balances from other banks to a low-rate consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank. Less stress, less to pay, each and every month. Plus, the chance to win $5,000. So make a change. Get a consolidation loan at Commonwealth Bank and pay less.
Accepted. You're always sharing everything. You share the umbrella, the weekend, the blanket, and even your favorite towel. We know that you always share, but not KFC's genuine big box, made fresh for only you, with 2 pieces of chicken, 2 spicy wings, coleslaw, fries, biscuit, a cookie, and a soda, all for just $10 including VAT. Easy to enjoy, hard to share.
Starting June 14th, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas proudly presents the exciting games of the FIFA World Cup 2018 live from Russia. Watch all the thrilling action as 32 teams play for 64 heart-stopping matches in 11 different Russian cities until the sensational final match on July 15th in Moscow for the coveted place in the 2021 FIFA Confederations Cup competition. Tune into ZNS TV this June for the FIFA World Cup 2018 live from Russia, and be sure to contact your ZNS account executive or the ZNS sales office at 502-3800 to book your special FIFA World Cup 2018 sponsorship package. This portion of the news brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking.
Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, is again defending the government's proposed value-added tax. In fact, he said during a Pinewood constituency town hall meeting on Monday at Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, the finance minister explained to the residents that the government's reasons for increasing the tax from 7.5% to 12%.
If we were going to change the rate of value-added tax, what should it be? We looked at 8%, we looked at 9%, we looked at 10%. And so we settled on 12%. Now what 12% will allow us to do is to pay back $360 million of old bills that have been hanging around the government for years. You have contractors who have not been paid. You've got small contractors in particular who have not been paid. And you can imagine what that means to a small business.
Since the announcement of the increased value-added tax in the House of Assembly last week, many Bahamians were not pleased and expressed their concerns. Now, during the town hall meeting, Pinewood residents and community leaders shared their views.
I know when I go to the shop and I see 12% tax on the thing, I say, boy, this price high. But I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay because this is my country. And if we want our country to survive, we must do what we need to do.
Why so short a term to implement this raise in the VAT when it took the previous government almost a year in its implementation. Secondly, will the increase in the VAT mean that there will be a reduction in people who are laid off?
President of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Belinda Wilson, says there is a great deal of concern from her union members about the proposed increase in value-added tax. The union leader says she has received constant calls from her members, and she is concerned that it will be to the country's disadvantage. Wilson says it will also impact the union's industrial agreement.
Last week I would have completed the draft that we're looking at now to fine-tune to present to the Ministry of Education for our new agreement for 2018-2021. So my phone started going, bop, bop, bop. They're saying, hey, you have to now factor in that 12% back. I was astonished actually, because we would have looked at our numbers already based on the 7.5%. So we got to go back now to the table, our committees, and come up with a new salary scale. But I believe that it will have a negative impact, not only on teachers, but on workers and our social fabric. And I hope that the monies are collected, accounted for, and used for the greater good.
Hotel Workers Union President, Utility Services Union President, and the BEC Union President also weighed in on the debate.
When you talk about an increase in taxes, there's never a good time for an increase in taxes. But for us now, that means our plans in terms of our distribution of the cards that we have to do for our members, the discount cards, we have to start working on them. We have to start getting on the negotiations, because if taxes are going to go up and salaries remain the same, if you keep drawing from a well, one day the well is going to run dry.
A lot of people are unhappy about the 12% VAT tax, but I believe that going forward, I hope that the government have a package for us as the industrial agreements expires. So I guess they got another plan to raise salaries as well.
Somebody running on about it. You know, social media is awash with the situation. But I mean, you have to wait and see. I mean, you can be able to complain, but they can get behind it. As simple as that. You have no other choice.
F&M Chairman Carl Culmer says the new budget proposes an airplane registry that would allow planes and helicopters from around the world to register their aircraft here in the Bahamas. This proposal would allow the Bahamas to become a leader in the aviation registry industry while bringing much-needed revenue to this country. Culmer says this new revenue would assist in reducing the tax burden on Bahamian citizens. The F&M Chairman says the airplane registry would operate similar to the current ship registry, which is currently the 7th largest registry in the world. Those ships bringing in money and the funds offset the tax burden on Bahamians, allowing them to keep more of their hard-earned money. And now the new F&M government is working to mirror the success of the ship registry by creating an airplane registry. Culmer says this registry will also allow the government to generate significant revenue without having to ask the Bahamian people for money. The F&M chairman says the PLP knows quite well that this new industry would be great for the Bahamas, but it's attempting to downplay the new revenue stream being introduced by the caring F&M government. Stay with us. Sports is up next. You're watching the News Leader first at 6.
That portion of the news was brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, the leader in personal banking services.
We'll be with you through new beginnings and sunset endings, through toil and many tears, through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
rugs, carpet tiles, ceramic tiles, floor mats, even vinyl flooring. Find them all at Wright's Carpet Masters located on Bernard Road. Let them cater to your home or your office needs, and you can choose from a variety of carpets, floor mats, cashmere, oriental rugs, and area rugs. And if you can't come to us, we will bring the business to you, offering free estimates and deliveries to the Family Islands. Wright's Carpet Masters will get it right for you. Located on Bernard Road, telephone number 364-1260.
Food. It is as essential as air is to breathe and water is to drink. Food is life. But where does our food come from? The Bahamas has more than 2,000 farmers, but it's hardly enough to keep up with our growing population. Or is it? We traveled the nation to find out the answers to the questions everyone is asking. Can we feed ourselves?
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Bahamas, I'm Kelsey Johnson. Here's your first look at sports for Tuesday. The push to make regatta the national sport in the Bahamas continues, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done before this can happen. Minister with responsibility for regattas, the Honorable Renwood Wells, is fully aware of what is needed to improve the sport nationally and eventually internationally.
In the case for making sailing and naming sailing as our national sport, I give special thanks to the organizers of this year's regatta, but particularly to the sailors of Long Island. They have been very, very supportive of my ministry's goal of modernizing sloop sailing and making it accessible to Bahamians everywhere and to the world. This regatta, Long Island, is the first outside of New Providence and Grand Bahama to be streamed live over the internet.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, was at home on the weekend watching the fair's sailing competition at the 51st Long Island Regatta. Turnquest, who reflected on his time in Salt Pond, Long Island, also thanked those persons for keeping the rich sailing tradition alive in the southern Bahamas.
So I want to thank the Long Island Sailing Club, the Long Island Association, and my president from the Grand Bahama Long Island Association for continuing to support, for continuing to put on this very important cultural event for the benefit of Long Island and for the benefit of the Bahamas in general.
Carting off the trophy in the E-Class at the annual South Andros Regatta was Judgment Day. Skipper Lloyd Sands was pleased with how the sloop sailed.
It was a good race too. We had two good days of sailing, beautiful weather, and the boat performed pretty well.
2 one day and 1 in the next day. You guys were ready for this?
Oh yeah, man. No matter how it comes, we be ready. We try to equip the boat well, so however the weather comes, we should be able to perform, and that's what we were able to do.
It takes dedication, hard work, and commitment to become a professional athlete. That's why Coach Ravano Mackey is making sure that those swimmers in his club make a splash every day.
We always speak about morning practices, getting up at 5 o'clock before school. Some kids are in the water before school. After school, they're in the water until the sun goes down. So it takes a lot of hard training. And some kids are doing very, very, very well. We are getting prepared also for CCCAN. That's coming up after Nationals. So this summer is very, very, very huge for some swimmers. And yeah, just the hard training, the hard work pays off.
The work is not done for the country's water polo teams. The 3 gold medals won at the Carifta Water Polo Championship was just the beginning for the squads who are preparing for international competition.
We're going to participate in the Sunshine State game, which will be held in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, just days before El Salvador. So the team gonna go to Fort Lauderdale, will participate in an American competition, turn around, fly down to El Salvador, hopefully qualify, come home. That's what I like to see.
The Bahamas is one of few countries in the Caribbean that can brag about having more than 15 professional baseball players. This number can increase in the next few days as the Major League Baseball draft is underway. So far, no Bahamians have been selected, but moving up the ranks was Anthony Seymour. He was called up on Saturday to the AA. Continues tonight in the New Providence Softball Association. 2 games are on schedule and will be played at the Bankers Field located in the Blue Hills Sporting Complex. Up first will be the Alive Strikers taking on the Johnson Lady Truckers. In the feature game, the BTC Elite Warriors and the Chances Mighty Mids. And from the professional basketball beat, player Jawan Burrows and Force Province Buyers move on to the championship round with a 92-70 win on Monday night against Rowan. Burrows posted 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 assists in the 22-point road victory. The Buyers swept the series. That's your first look at sports. Don't go anywhere. There's more to come.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Together, we laugh more. We discover more. We dream more. Together, we connect more. We cheer more. Grab life by the bundle and fuel your passion for your favorite things. Enhance your entertainment experience with Flow Evo, internet and home phone in one simple package. The hotter the bundle, the more you get. Grab life by the bundle with BTC.
Very passionate. I've not been good at a lot of things, but cooking is one thing that I put my best foot forward every time I step in the kitchen. I do not accept mediocrity. If it's bad before it goes up to the guests, it's not coming out. I'd rather have a dish comes out to the guests late and right than on time and wrong.
Hey, I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Miss something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
You thought it was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas, 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light, 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
This Tuesday, the government of Barbados has announced a multi-pronged plan to address critically low levels of international reserves, poor growth, and major failings in public infrastructure and social safety nets. The announcement follows a general election held on May 24th. The president of Haiti, Jovenel Moïse, on Monday launched the first full-feature incubator in the Caribbean, dubbed Alpha Haiti, by providing aspiring entrepreneurs with the needed infrastructure and training and mentorship. The new incubator will help build startups and support the creation of jobs and wealth in a country and region that urgently need them. Exercise Trade Winds, taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis this week, is a multinational maritime security and disaster response exercise held annually in the Caribbean. Led by the United States Southern Command, it brings together defense and security partners from different countries to enhance the collective abilities of defense forces in an effort to counter transnational organized crime and terrorism.
Time now for weather.
In our first look at weather, we have 16 days before the official start of summer, but summer temperatures are already here. 88 degrees was the high temperature today. Meanwhile, that low-level trough has moved into the southeast Bahamas, giving rise to some clearing skies over the northwest and central parts of the country. But outside of our studios just now, we have mostly sunny skies with just a few clouds floating around. Temperature a very warm 86 degrees, relative humidity 58%. The winds are out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure 1,014.3 millibars. That is 29.94 inches, and it is steady. That's going to do it for your first look at weather at 6. Stay tuned, more weather is still to come.
Thanks a lot, Basil, and that's news here in the Bahamas tonight, first at 6. But don't go anywhere. News from the north is up next.
Community examining the increase in VAT.
You thought it was the talk of the town, but get ready for more.
More energy, more excitement, exhilarating, compelling, informative, educational talk on The Conversation.
I'm Shanique Miller. Pull up a chair with a cup of tea and join me weekdays at 4 on Radio Bahamas 1540 AM, 104.5 FM, and The Light 810 AM for The Conversation. I'm excited to have you around the table.
How passionate are you in what you're doing here?
Very passionate. I've not been good at a lot of things, but cooking is one thing that I put my best foot forward every time I step in the kitchen. I do not accept mediocrity. If it's bad before it goes up to the guests, it's not coming out. I'd rather have a dish comes out to the guests late and right than on time and wrong.
Hey, I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Miss something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
Representative of the business community examining the increase in VAT. The Minister of Finance explaining the rationale behind the tax increase. And police continuing its community policing efforts.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Rolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, debate is expected to begin tomorrow in the House of Assembly on the 2018-2019 budget. The increase in value-added tax is one of the changes in this year's budget. Tonight, a member of the business community shares how this can potentially impact an already ailing Grand Bahama. President of the Bahamas Car Rental Association, Darren Cooper, says he listened intently to the 2018-2019 budget communication. And while he was excited to hear the many concessions, tax exemptions and reductions, as well as small business development opportunities and new initiatives for small business development, he says there is one part of the budget that he believes is detrimental to this island and leaves him asking one question.
Is Grand Bahama in any position for an increase of any other tax? Not the Bahamas, but I'm speaking for Grand Bahama. I think we've been hurting long enough, and any added tax to Grand Bahama and to the residents, to the business owners, is way too much at this juncture in Grand Bahama.
Cooper says he is a registered VAT collector, as his business was making over $100,000 a year. But he says with Grand Bahama's slowed economy, many businesses are no longer meeting that mark, yet are still forced to apply VAT and pass it down to their consumers.
Starting out at VAT, but right now, and not just myself, but a lot of the other rental companies that I'm a part of are complaining that they're trying to get out of VAT because their revenue is not what it used to be. So the 7.5% has been a challenge for us in our business for several years from the whole implementation of it. There are companies that are not VAT registrant, and so they don't pay they don't collect the 7.5, so they don't pass it on to the customers. But those of us who are have been feeling the pinch, and now to add an additional 4.5 to the 7.5, I think is going to be a huge blow to the industry, especially that I'm a part.
He says this increase has him, along with other members of the Car Rental Association, worried. And while Cooper says he understands the government's position at this time, the fact remains Grand Bahama simply cannot afford this additional 4.5%, which means, he says, that they are now going to have to let the chips fall where they may.
I'm just going to have to cut back. Some may have to let go, and some may have to downsize. Some may have to, whatever necessary, they're going to have to make to continue to keep their doors open.
Cooper warns that this increase will have a significant impact on Grand Bahama's business community.
I think a lot of restaurants will be impacted by it. Persons are now saying that, right when you sit down in a restaurant, your percentage that you would pay is 27%. So 15 for gratuity and now 12% for VAT. So I think those are things that will be impacted. I'm hoping for the better. I'm hoping that what we are saying is not so, and that this could work out for the good. But I think for me, I listened to the budget and I didn't hear anything for Grand Bahama in particular, or any relief for Grand Bahama in particular. We would just judge across the board. We don't have the economy at this point for any added tax, and so I think the government should get busy on trying to bill investors to come, or to convince investors to come and to open up some opportunities for Bahamians.
The 12% value-added tax will be implemented on July 1st. Finance and Deputy Prime Minister is defending the 2018-2019 budget on the issue of the 4.5% increase in the rate of value-added tax. The Finance Minister, while addressing the Labor Day rally in Freeport, noted that it was the government's last resort. Italia Hall reports.
The Minister of Finance, Peter Turnquist, says for the first time in history, the budget debate is focusing on empowering people, noting that as the Minister of Finance and a representative in Grand Bahama, increasing VAT to 12% was not an easy decision.
None of these members of Parliament here today take any pleasure or take it easy, the decision to have to do what we have to do to right the finances in this country. That is a very serious thing we're asking, a very significant sacrifice that we're asking of the Bahamian people. And so you must know that if we make that decision, knowing what we know particularly about Grand Bahama, then we are left with very little options.
He says a number of things were considered before they came up with the 4.5% increase in the VAT rate.
We looked at 9%, we looked at 10%. And in doing that analysis, we realized that yes, we could settle at a rate of 10%, but the only thing about that is that we will have taxed the Bahamian people more and still have to go out and borrow a significant sum of money.
Turnquist says the reality is, coming into office, the finances were not good. He is also urging Bahamians to read the presentation he made in Parliament for themselves.
Don't allow people to fill your head with nonsense. Look for yourself. You will see that the government has cut or has kept at constant over 50% of the budget. Because we recognize that not only do we have to drive revenue, but we also have to cut costs. The areas that have increased are because they are areas of priority to the government, as some of the programs I've already mentioned, and some of the other programs that we have. We heard the nurses talking about the needs at the Iran Memorial Hospital. $27 million is in that budget for the upgrade of health facilities through this country.
The finance minister says they simply did not have much of a choice, as the country has some $8 billion in debt, and the country cannot afford another downgrade.
After we did all the optimization that we could possibly do in terms of reducing the expenditure and as well as increasing the revenue from other sources, we were still left with a deficit of over $400 million. We could bump duty up, but what difference does it make? Next year, we're going to have to bring it down. These temporary fix is what has gotten us into the problem we are in today.
Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Yesterday was a big day for cab drivers across Grand Bahama as an agreement was signed paving the way for increased business opportunities at the Freeport Harbor. Well, today that agreement was one of the many issues on the minds of the drivers at the port of entry. Here again is Natalia Hall.
Well, Shashina, it was announced yesterday that taxi drivers have now signed an agreement with Bahamas Paradise Cruise Lines. Now, this agreement is allowing taxi drivers to transport overnight passengers and same-day transfers once guests haven't prearranged a tour. Under this new agreement, cab drivers can now make an additional $10,000 a week. Some taxi drivers view this agreement as a big step towards leveling the playing field in the cruise business.
It's a good move. It's a good step. It's a good step, a long-awaited step. You know, we were losing lots of jobs to the luggages, and now that we have them back, I'm sure there are going to be opportunities for drivers to make extra sums of money, that we were lost for some years now.
It's been a long time coming, right? And so we're very happy, and we want to commend our president as well and his team. And then we also want to commend the Minister of Grand Bahama.
That's a good thing that we now get our jobs back. It's very good, actually. What was happening was that most of this transfer is illegal. It's against the government policy and the law of the country. And this is the first time that we had a government that stepped in and tried to do something about it.
But Emmanuel Seafort claims that since this decision has been made, some tour operations are still soliciting business from guests who haven't prearranged a tour.
Which is still going on the boat and still bringing tours off the boat, which I think is wrong. You see what I'm saying? So if that be corrected, and everybody get their tours and the tours come to them as it should be, I feel like we'll be in a better state and we'll be able to appreciate whatever the government do, whatever our union do.
These taxi drivers say they know it is still a long road to go, but overall they are pleased and they understand that they have a role to play when providing service.
Presentation always is the first key, and especially in tourism. We must present ourselves. We are our product. We are the ambassadors of our country. So when people come to our countries and the first set of people they visit is us.
The tourists are our bread and butter. They put food on our table. It's the bottom line.
We're trying to get new vehicles now because now we have our jobs back.
The Prime Minister, the Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Kwesi Thompson, noted that this is just the beginning in correcting some of the issues within the transport industry. In the newsroom, I'm Natalia Hall. Back to you in the studio, Shashina.
Thanks, Tally. Police on Grand Bahama continuing their community policing efforts as they wage the war on crime. Tonight, Sabrina Brown tells us that was the focus of a public forum in the West Grand Bahama District last night.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force holding a town meeting in the Seagrape community in an effort to build stronger relationships with residents. Assistant Commissioner for Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas District, Samuel Butler.
We want to have a face-up with the community and to be able to seek any concerns from the community.
There was one murder in Seagrape last year. 49-year-old Margaret Smith was found dead at her home on Valentine's Day. Months later, another Seagrape resident, 30-year-old Dwayne Belazaire, was arraigned in connection with her murder. But otherwise, ASP Butler says that Western community is reasonably peaceful and there are no major concerns at this time.
The community somewhat similarly policing themselves to a point, and simply that they are interacting well with themselves. And yes, from time to time, we do experience some domestic issues that we are concerned and seek to abate right away. I know recently we also got some information about particularly concern of some young persons who are not behaving themselves well, among themselves having some kind of conflicts. We know that we've sent a number of policing teams in during walkabouts.
Grand Bahamas Police Chief is encouraging residents to join forces with the police to ensure their community remains safe.
We want to be able to be unified, having the same thought, having the same mindset to ensure that our community remains safe. And we're happy that we will be sharing that message of building a stronger community. I really wanted to just encourage them to go back to the good old days where we were certainly our brother's keeper. We know how to share love and compassion with one another.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues in just a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
Musicians, churches, nightclubs, Radio Shack is now stocked with heavy-duty power amps, powered speakers, subwoofers, cordless and wired microphones, lavaliers, guitar strings, drumsticks, skins, and accessories, guitar and bass amps, DI boxes, crossovers, line conditioners, percussion instruments, clarinet and saxophone reeds, PA systems, mixers, routers, hard drives, sound cards, tablets, MacBook Pro power cords and adapters, and so much more at the new Radio Shack at Dolly Madison Home Center.
Come on down.
Be a part of the Down Home experience at Southfest on Saturday, July 7th from 3 p.m. until at St. Vincent de Paul School Grounds in Hunters.
Chimney, new government, give thanks. Sing it.
Yes, Freeport, that's Irish Riley, your singer. Do remember, June 16, have no fear. We will be there. Sing, Tyrus Riley, niceness increase. You don't know it, Gary, the rain start the first one. That Jah works a blessing. I watch out. The simple things, them are your blessings. So we're ready up this time. June 16, back and forward in. Well clean.
Things are your blessing. And you don't notice your blessings. You pick it with the shoes by your feet. Now pick and choose the friends where you keep. You now watch where you eat. When last you get a good sleep, the simple things are your blessings. Simple things are your blessing, your blessing. Simple things are your blessing. You better notice your blessing.
More Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979. Covering the Northern Bahamas, you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A group of environmentally conscious people relocated to Grand Bahama in March to set up the world's first land-based coral farm, Coral Vita. Co-founder Sam Teacher says that they will be growing corals to restore dying reefs in Grand Bahama.
We're going to be setting up a coral farm by the old Arawak Hotel.
I'm sure many of you have, you planted flowers, you planted trees before, so we we take cuttings of corals that are existing on the reefs, we bring them to our farm on land, work our magic, and eventually they grow big and strong enough until we then plant them back out on the reefs and watch all the fish come back and all the marine life and biodiversity.
Teacher says the team has already met with the Prime Minister and says he was very supportive. Coral Vita wants to work with various environmental organizations, including Save the Bays, and he says they have a bigger picture in mind.
Not only will we be doing this work to restore the reefs, but the farms will both turn into a tourism attraction for people visiting Grand Bahama to come see and take part, and hopefully that'll be a good boost for things here. But we also want it to be an education center. And so we've already started reaching out to a number of different schools here on the island, the University of the Bahamas. It'll be open for field trips, there'll be touch tanks. Hopefully we'll be able to take students out onto the reefs themselves.
Now, June 8th is recognized internationally as World Oceans Day. On the 9th, the Bahamas National Trust, GB Port Authority, and Coral Vita are organizing a march for the ocean, joining hands with others all over the world who care about the environment. Now to our Generation Y report and to the story of a young woman who epitomizes great strength and perseverance. Despite her health challenges, she remains committed to personal development. Italia Hall shares her story.
Tanisha Moss is no stranger to the Grand Bahama community. We here at ZNS News have been following her progress from as far back as 2012. Tanisha has had health issues from the age of 12 and since then has had a number of surgeries in the nation's capital and abroad. Now at the age of 21, Tanisha's health continues to improve. She's as sharp as a tack and only requires ventilator support while sleeping. She only recently graduated with a certification in office administration from the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute. But she says her real passion is nursing. She wants to become a nurse someday to be able to help others, but she's a bit discouraged because each time she tries to apply for a job, the door is usually shut in her face.
I really want to work, buy my own things, have my own car.
Tanisha is currently taking part in an internship at the Medical Pavilion, which was required in order for her to receive her certification. But just before she got the opportunity, she says other employers just would not take her seriously.
People should treat me like a regular person and not how they see me with a drink.
But through it all, Tanisha says she's proud of her progress and she gives all the credit to God and her parents, whom she calls her biggest fans.
I feel they support me. Fine, good. They just wanted to buy me a car so I can go my own places and don't have to wait on them.
What a beautiful story. And now it is time to ask the doctor.
Welcome. Yvette asked, over the last 4 weeks, 6 members of my family contracted what we believe to be pink eye. The symptoms were severe and lasted anywhere from 7 days to 3 weeks. Everyone who had it experienced pink eye at a much earlier age for about 3 days only, and the symptoms were much milder. Was our recent experience really pink eye, or was it something else? Yvette, thank you for your question. What is commonly called pink eye is what we call conjunctivitis. It is an inflammation or infection of the conjunctiva, which is the clear covering that lines your eyelid and covers the white part of your eyeball. When small blood vessels in the conjunctiva become inflamed, they're more visible. This is what causes the whites of your eyes to appear reddish or pink. Pink eye can be irritating and treatment can help ease the discomfort. The answer is yes. You and your family's recent experience sounds like pink eye because it can be contagious. So early diagnosis is important because medications such as antibiotic eye drops can help limit the spread. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us. A check on sports is up next.
the News is brought to you by Mo Davis Beauty Zone. Be beautiful, be you. Located at number 1 Britannia Mini Mall, Caravel Beach.
Welcome to Jags International. We have Celebration, Valeria, FRS, Bahamas Air, Hotel, car vouchers now on sale.
Girls, I tried book my ticket online with them ferry them. So complicated, they asking for too much.
That's why I stick to Jags. No agency fees or booking fees. Cash and credit, all the same. Blow deals and spectacular services with a smile.
Yes, that's Jags, your one-stop shop to Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, and Miami.
We even offer cheap car rental vouchers, dollar, thrifty, Hertz, and VIP service.
Book now with Jags and get their $5 discount card. And don't forget the super sales going on.
Everybody, I on TV. Look, I on TV. Mom, guess what it is? That's me. Bartender, do you see me? I on television. I gotta tell my girlfriend I on television.
Hello?
Babe, turn your television to ZNS. Quick, I on television.
I don't have a TV in here.
We have Wi-Fi though.
We have Wi-Fi.
That's fine. They upgrade now. You can watch it live from your phone. You just have to download the app.
All right, hold on.
Go to the App Store, type in ZNS, download the app, and you'll be able to watch ZNS straight from your phone. Hurry up and start over again.
Get your news and more anytime, anywhere with the new ZNS app. Stay connected from around the globe with our live stream news updates, all in the palm of your hand. You can also listen to the ZNS Radio Network for your favorite music. Go into your Apple or Google Play Store and download the ZNS app today.
Miss I's a star now. I still gotta pay?
Topping sports on this Tuesday evening, Grand Bahama enjoyed a treat this past Labor Day on Tino Beach as scores of people attended the first annual Powerboat Race Summer Festival under the theme Fuel the Power. Our Kimberly Mullings has the exciting details.
Prodigy Group put on the first annual Grand Bahama Powerboat Race Summer Festival, which attracted hundreds of residents and visitors alike to Tino Beach. Member Juanito Bootle says they met their goal of sparking life into the community. It was entertaining for all attendees, and local vendors also benefited from the buzz created on the beach for the holiday festival.
This is the first of many, the very first of many, and we tested it, and it worked. You know, and we had a lot of odds against us, but we made it work. We had a lot of people that came and partnered with us. Look at the people enjoying themselves, food, kids having fun, parents, they over there. Everybody's a nice environment for young and old.
Host Alfred Purple Sweeting says the entire day was nostalgic.
This is remind me, but back in the days when Tino Beach on the holiday, everybody used to be on the wall like this. I was very shocked, I was very surprised, and still to this moment, I still shocked to see the amount of people out here.
Boats from Grand Bahama participated in the Powerboat race, as well as others from the U.S. and Abaco. A few boats from Nassau came to hang out as well. Class A winners, local Ellie Hepburn and celebrity Jim Jones, brought 2 boats to the race, a skater and a cigarette under the team Wasted Talent. Both say it was a pleasure to take part in the race.
I love boats. I love boat racing. I wanted to support. I wanted to bring some hype, some energy, and some significant greatness to the island. Everybody's out here just having a good time. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. The turnout, as far as the boats is concerned, was sort of disappointing because we had some things that we tried to do, but they refused to do, and et cetera, et cetera. But it all worked out in the end.
It was fun. It was a good experience, something new for me. My first boat race, well, my second boat race in the Bahamas, actually. We did a poker run a couple years ago, so it's a great thing, man, you know, for all the people to come out, enjoy, have something to do, participate in. So, you know, we look forward to next year.
Class B winner Jason Hanna with Power Play, a 25-foot Power Play sports deck, says he had a great time.
Of course I enjoyed it. It was something fun, something to look forward to, and hopefully next year we could continue the same thing.
The summer festival lasted well into the night with international soca artist Destra Garcia as the headliner. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Toll Sports.
Thanks, Kim, and that's a check on sports.
Warm Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
Tired of the endless bank fees and long lines? The Grand Bahama Cooperative Credit Union is the solution to making your money work for you by providing you with free financial counseling, higher interest on savings plans, and lower interest rates on loans. Savings products such as Christmas and Vacation Club, fixed deposits, and annuity savings allow our members to prepare for today and tomorrow without all of the hassle. Join satisfied Bahamians who left their banking frustrations behind. Open an account with GBCCU 352-4139.
Influenza or the flu can be serious, causing hospitalization and sometimes death. One of the best ways to prevent acquiring the flu is to get your annual flu shot. Flu shots are available free of charge at all community clinics. The following high-risk persons are encouraged to get their annual flu shots: children 6 months and older, pregnant women, adults over the age of 50, persons with asthma, diabetes, hypertension, or a weakened immune system resulting from cancer and/or HIV, persons in nursing homes, and healthcare providers. Additional information regarding the flu shot can be provided by your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshina Wolf-Farquharson. Thank you so much for tuning in.
In the Bahamas tonight, the National Report. A 7-year-old caught in the crossfire. The hunt tonight for his killer. Changing the course of Labor Day parades. The Labor Minister calls for a review. And the VAT debate ahead of the debate. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Breaking news tonight, a private plane has gone down in Eleuthera, and reports from the island are that there are no survivors. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley, and this is the Bahamas Tonight. Topping the news, 3 people were killed in a plane crash in Rock Sound, Eleuthera this afternoon. We're told the plane went down around 4 o'clock after taking off from the Rock Sound airport with 3 males on board. They were reportedly headed to the United States. The pilot of the plane is a regular on the island, we're told. One eyewitness told us the plane descended quickly into a wooded area and that smoke was seen coming from the aircraft shortly before it went down. We spoke with Bernard Miller from Rock Sound just a short time ago. His mother runs a guest house where the pilot stayed during regular trips to the island.
What happened, they're saying that one of the engines caught a fire and they didn't have enough altitude. Okay, but they tried to turn around and it failed. You know, their attempts to try and come back to the Rock Sound airport failed. And it crashed and burned our crest. Everything is completely burnt. Everything is completely burnt. Middle-aged gentlemen come over to Eleuthera about 2-3 times a year, depending on their business. Sometimes it'd be more, depending on how business is going with them in South Carolina. Nice gentleman, family guy, family orientated, easy to talk to. The other two gentlemen, I never met them. I think from what I'm getting is that those two other guys are his in-laws or some type of family members.
Now, investigators and recovery teams are on the site as we speak. We're told it's near the old Rock Sound farm. We were given the name of the pilot, but we won't reveal it because it's still very early in the investigation. Meantime, we spoke with Delvin Major, who is a flight investigator here in the capital, and the South Eleuthera MP, Hank Johnson, with these details of the investigation so far.
I was in communication with the administrator and the police in Eleuthera. The aircraft with 3 Americans on board departed Rocksound International, and they somehow crashed about 3 miles inland. They were able to locate the aircraft a few minutes ago. At this stage, there's no sign of survivors. The aircraft has been burned beyond recognition. They're only able to determine by the aircraft, they're only able to determine the registration on the tail of the aircraft. The investigation is still premature, and the police and the administrator and the 30 persons who are on the scene are just checking to make sure. They're not certain of any survivors.
My team is headed down on the first flight in the morning to get more information and start our investigation.
Well, to other news tonight as we continue to follow that developing story from Eleuthera. A second grader is dead tonight. A man is hospitalized, and the hunt on for the man responsible for targeting that man and getting that child killed in the crossfire, according to police. Cleopatra Murphy has details from this morning's tragic incident.
A family and the community are left in mourning after a young child's life was tragically cut short, virtually on his doorstep, after an alleged drug-involved incident early this morning.
Fellas must see was out here fighting this morning, and one ran off, go get his gun and come back, he's shooting at the next one. But then when he was shooting at, ran in the direction of my cousin's house, and he went inside those. And when he went inside those, the fella fired him, that's how the little boy get.
The mood was somber on the family property at Piper Lane off Wilson Track. As officers collected evidence, Cameron's aunt stood on the sidelines and wept, while a young cousin was comforted. Cameron's cousin Miguel Feast says the family, particularly the 7-year-old Columbus Primary School student's mother, are devastated.
That could have been my child. I can't even begin to imagine, say how she feeling, because I don't know. You see, and that's a baby. That's a last child. He get killed for nothing. Just because niggas, someone run in any direction and he just pick it up.
Bullet holes remain in the door and its frame following the shooting that also involved another man. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernander says police were called to the scene shortly after 7:30 a.m. about an alleged drug altercation between two men.
One of the male produced a firearm and fired several shots at the other male, resulting in him getting hit, shot to the body. At the same time, there was a between 6 to 7-year-old boy who was on his way from school to school. He had just left his door. Some relative was waiting on him in a vehicle, and he was shot during the crossfire.
Cameron died in hospital shortly after. Area residents who gathered around the yard heard the shots ring out. They were emotional.
Children, I have grandchildren, and it's like a shock to me because it could have been one of my grandchildren, or it could have been my son or my daughter, so I don't know what to say.
Lee running in the back there, saw a little boy dressed in his uniform on the floor with a bullet wound. Was very heartbreaking and very furious this morning for the Wilson Track family. Did it hit home?
Cameron's cousin Miguel says he no longer feels safe in the yard, and for the safety of his children, he may move. At the same time, Cameron's 12-year-old cousin broke down in tears at the loss of the 7-year-old, who was also a friend. He had one final message for him.
He's my best cousin. I say I miss him.
Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, police have launched an island-wide manhunt for the man responsible for that double shooting. that claimed 7-year-old Cameron Cooper's life. That man is 32-year-old Johnny St. Luke, a resident of Wilson Track. He is described as standing at medium height between 5 foot 4 inches tall and 5 foot 6 inches tall with a dark brown complexion. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando says drugs have been the cause of many of the shootings in that surrounding area, and police will launch an all-out assault on that. He's assuring the public and family that police will find the culprit.
Community where we have information that drugs is being sold, and the folks will they will just will feel the police presence in these areas. All of my officers, Chief Superintendent Cashews and tal, you will see us out there in full force with the commander of uniform operation. I think now it's high time that we continue and be consistent with our full court press within these communities where we know that drugs is fueling a lot of these shootings.
Well, 7-year-old Cameron Cooper was shot dead as he was on his way to nearby Columbus Primary School. Coincidentally, the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pindling, was present at the school this morning to witness the commissioning of 56 students as members of the Queen Mary's Bahamas Clothing Guild, and was grief-stricken upon hearing the news of the shooting death of the young boy.
First of all, I'd like to join with the principal, teachers, and students of this school in passing on my condolences to the family of the young child that was taken from us this morning. May his soul rest in peace.
And counseling sessions taking place for the staff and students at Columbus Primary School today following the tragic death of one of their own. Fern Carey has that.
The death of Columbus Primary School's second grader, Cameron Cooper, came as the staff and students of that primary school were preparing to host Governor General Her Excellency Dame Marguerite Pindling in a special assembly. While school officials decided to press on with that assembly in the midst of the tragic news, Cooper's classmates and teacher did not attend as they were all receiving a private counseling session in Cooper's classroom. School principal Patricia Chisholm said the entire school family is struggling to come to grips with the tragic loss.
Somebody's child is our child here at Columbus Primary School, and so to get the news to hear your son was shot, I mean, you must grieve. We're really trying to cope here at Columbus, and so we thank God for the amount of prayer persons who extend this morning their condolences.
The principal said staff and the rest of the student body will also receive counseling. Meanwhile, preparations are also underway to hold a memorial for Cameron Cooper sometime this week.
The children, we've already made arrangements for them to have sessions. They're having lunch now, but we have identified some rooms, and we would meet with the staff first, and then we'll meet with the children.
The principal also expressed concern about the level of crime in the country, and she's encouraging residents to become advocates of peace. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Well, there is fresh video tonight. The first images from that plane crash in Eleuthera late this afternoon. Police on the island of Eleuthera are again investigating the circumstances surrounding the crash of a twin-engine Cessna in bushes off Rock Sound. Again, that plane went down between 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon in a wooded area. We're told 3 males were on board, all from the United States. Residents on the island tell us that the 3 were regulars on the island, and they were from North Carolina. Again, that plane going down in a wooded area in Rock Sound, Eleuthera, shortly after takeoff from the Rock Sound Airport en route to the United States. The first video from that crash site in Eleuthera. Well, also another male is dead today after he was shot last night while standing outside a home on Homestead Street, a few streets away from where the young 7-year-old was killed this morning. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernando is not linking the 2 shootings, but provides this update on what occurred in that overnight murder.
An individual shortly after 9 p.m. last night, he was standing in front of his yard when a vehicle pulled up. 2 men wearing hoodies, armed, approached him and shot him to the body. He was transported to hospital in private vehicles, and he later succumbed shortly after 1 a.m. This morning. We are aggressively looking at that matter as well, but based on our initial inquiries with that matter and this, we don't see a connection at this time.
In other news tonight, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Peter Turnquest, has given Pinewood residents a closer look at the 2018-2019 budget communication. He met with them during a constituency town meeting. Concerned residents questioned the Deputy Prime Minister over the value-added tax increase. DeAndre Williamson was there.
I don't relish the idea of 12% tax, but some things have to be done.
Reverend Randall Delavo and other Bahamians expressed concerns over the government's proposed 12% value-added tax increase during Pinewood's constituency town meeting on Monday.
I know when I go to the shop and I see 12% tax on the thing, I say, boy, this price high, but I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay because this is my country. And if we want our country to survive, we must do what we need to do.
Will the increase in the VAT mean that there will be a reduction in people who are laid off?
How much money that is Bahamians have to pay, and come July 1st, it's going to be raised to 12%. We need to take a good look at that 12% salary.
During the town meeting at Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest presented an overview of the 2018-2019 budget communication and explained to Pinewood residents the government's decision to increase value-added tax.
We settled on 12%. Now what 12% will allow us to do is to pay back $360 million of old bills that have been hanging around the government for years. You have contractors who have not been paid. You've got small contractors in particular who have not been paid. And you can imagine what that means to a small business.
Turnquest says if VAT remains at 7.5%, the country would be at a risk for more borrowing and added interest.
If we didn't increase the value-added tax, we would have had to go out and borrow another $600 to $700 million to pay the commitments that the government already has. That is to pay the rent, the salaries, the light, the water, etc.
Deputy Prime Minister Peter Turnquest says the budget plan requires sacrifice, but it is what the government needs to move the country forward. For ZNS Network News, I'm DeAndre Williamson.
Well, the opposition Progressive Liberal Party continuing to levy criticism of the VAT increase ahead of debate on the budget in the House of Assembly tomorrow. Party leader Philip Brave Davis told the media today the PLP would have retained the 7.5% VAT, reasoning that along with capital developments, it was sufficient to defray operational costs.
We felt that with the opening of Bahama, the Point, the sale of the Lucayan Hotel Complex in Freeport, the cruise port in East Grand Bahama, the Ocean Key development, the Church Key development in the Exuma Keys, and other projects that were on the drawing board, that there would have been no need for a hike in VAT. Let me be unequivocal in our opposition to this tax hike. It is a mistake and can induce double-dip recession.
Well, speaking to tax leakages like the $30 million the Christie administration determined would have been derived from 200 unregistered commercial properties, Mr. Davis said actually collecting outstanding taxes would go a long way in boosting government revenue.
That between $400 million and $600 million of uncollected revenues annually is in the tax system. That is why the Revenue Enhancement Unit was tasked to go after that. We needed to close that gap. There's no need for a raise of 60% once you manage properly and pursue the collection and to fill these gaps to collect this $400 to $600 million. That's $400 million to $600 million that has already been identified, that is out there in a tax system just to be collected to come into the public coffers.
Well, during the presentation of the 2018-2019 budget communication in the House of Assembly last week, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest announced a waiver of value-added tax on residential electricity bills of $100 or less. On Monday, in his address on the People's Budget during Pinewood constituency town meeting, Mr. Turnquest indicated that this decision will be revisited to accommodate more Bahamians.
Now we got to look at that. Because we recognize $100 is relatively low. But according to BPL, that represents 30,000 houses in Nassau. Believe it or not. We're looking at it to see maybe if we can tweak it a little bit more to take in some more people. But again, these incentives are intended for the most vulnerable amongst us, and is also to encourage conservation.
Well, still ahead tonight, could there be changes to the Labor Day parade going forward? Hear what's being proposed. And Bishop Neil Ellis reflects on the lives of two of his members killed in that Labor Day accident. That and much more when the Bahamas Tonight continues. You're watching your news leader.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Letty, designed for extra miles.
This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is Commonwealth Bank. And no matter how, no matter where, no matter what, Commonwealth Bank is here for you. Commonwealth Bank, everything we do it for you.
Accepted. You're always sharing everything. You share the umbrella, the weekend, the blanket, and even your favorite towel. We know that you always share, but not KFC's genuine big box, made fresh for only you, with 2 pieces of chicken, 2 spicy wings, coleslaw, fries, biscuit, a cookie, and a soda. All for just $10, including VAT. Easy to enjoy, hard to share.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
Let's celebrate our islands. Cheers to the new world. The Hopetown Lighthouse and Bahama Parrot. Coral Gardens of Acklins and Crooked Island. Let's celebrate Andros. Let's celebrate the Grand Bahama Shipyard. Sport fishing in Bimini. The sweet sounds of Rake and Scrape. Eleuthera Sweet Pineapple. Our world-famous swimming pigs. Let's celebrate our national bird. Let's celebrate Long Island. Our sea turtles in Mayaguana. Junkanoo. Let's celebrate Ragged Island. Click, the beer of the Bahamas, celebrating 30 years.
We are at the Golden Gates Assembly Church, where we are highlighting 120 of our nation's brightest and best. This is the Primary School Student of the Year Award.
I climbed so many mountains this time.
It is amazing from whence we came. We started in 1997, not giving out any type of financial scholarship. Till tonight, we're giving over $180,000 in cash scholarships alone, and then $35,000 in prizes.
22 years, and this is the first year that we've been able to give every single nominee.
I'm very grateful, dear ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, that we are giving honor to the most precious resource that we have in our country, our children.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I...
BTC says congratulations to this year's Primary School Student of the Year, 10-year-old Remington Minnis, and congratulations to all of our recipients. I'm Corbell Piper, and we'll see you next BTC Connection.
Every island and every key, keep in touch with everybody. It's BTC every day. Every day, every day, every day.
We start with a yes, but when life takes unexpected turns, you can still say yes to more. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card gives you points with every purchase that you can use to travel anywhere. Plus, with 20,000 Scotia points, you can say yes to destinations. With Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card, it's easier to say yes to everything. Apply today.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Proposed changes underway for future Labor Day parades. This following the deaths of 4 women struck by an out-of-control vehicle along the parade route last Friday. Minister of Labor, Senator the Honorable Dion Folk, says he's already met with leaders of the Trade Union Congress and National Congress of Trade Unions on the matter.
As a result of the tragedy that occurred on Friday, the union leaders and executives, and indeed the entire nation, we're very concerned about how the parade has been transformed into what it is today. There's a strong feeling among the labor leaders that maybe we need to go back to how it was in the past, but not so many big flatbeds and trucks and the type of music.
Well, Mr. Folk said labor leaders will have the final say as to what changes will be made to the upcoming Labor Day parades.
They will have to decide. It is their parade, and I respect that. The Fox family is playing a major role in terms of advising us in terms of what to do. And of course, I will consult my colleagues to get their views also.
Well, there is an update tonight on those persons who were hospitalized following the Labor Day tragedy. Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sand spoke with us today.
A number of them remain in hospital. They're convalescing as well as can be expected. And so we're grateful that, certainly of the 24 people injured, those that remain in hospital seem to be moving along.
A local pastor is reminiscing on the lives of 2 of his church members killed in the Labor Day tragedy. Pastor of Mount Tabor Church, Bishop Neil Ellis, didn't focus on the event which led to the deaths of Kathleen Fernander and Tabitha Hay, but reflected on the positive lives that both women led. Here's LaDon Davis.
Labor Day tragedy victims Kathleen Fernander and Tabitha Hay were both devoted members here at Mount Tabor Church who always put their family first. Senior pastor of Mount Tabor Church, Bishop Neil C. Ellis, shared some special memories of them with us.
Tabitha has been a part of our staff for just over 8 years. A stellar employee. As a matter of fact, we just announced her promotion last week. Her sister passed suddenly, and because of that, she was left with, the children were left without a mother and an available father. But Tabitha took in those 4 children. Kathleen has been a member here for at least 11, 12 years. She served as a member of our usher board for 8 years, and about a year and a half ago, she felt the real need to go and offer her assistance to one of our other colleagues here in the city. And she did that, but she never cut off her connection with us.
Bishop Ellis said he met with the victim's family, the driver, the driver's mother, and the president of the BPSU, offering spiritual healing and counseling as they try to deal with this tragic loss.
I want to pray for the driver. I've had a chance to sit with him and to counsel with him. He needs our prayers. All four of the deceased would be friends or co-workers of the mother. And so we can imagine what that family is dealing with.
Meanwhile, funeral services for Tabitha Hay and Kathleen Fernandez will take place tentatively on June 16th and 23rd. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
Minister with responsibility for national insurance, the Honorable Brenzel Roll, is confirming that National Insurance Board Director Patricia Hermans has resigned. Ms. Hermans handed in her resignation 4 days ago. It takes effect June 15th.
She took an option to resign. The post may be advertised, or the government may select somebody who they feel is able and competent to do the job.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Know how you can save more money, save more time, earn more interest, and have more for the future? The solution is an account from Fidelity Bank. With our ASU Savings, fixed deposits, and preferred client program, you can get free financial advice from our team of experts, competitive interest rates, and free online banking for simple and safe banking anytime, anywhere. Open a fixed deposit or savings account with Fidelity by visiting a branch today. Get into the rhythm of saving with Fidelity. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Well, we're the Nutty Bavarian Bahamas. We specialize in glazed nuts, being cashews, almonds, pecans, and peanuts. Well, we're offering a 3-tier savings deal. It's 5% for the silver, 15% for the gold, and 25% for platinum members. You would call us at the number 698-2126, let us know what tier you're on, and then we'll work from there. So the discount will be applied to whatever you purchase from us. Normally the delivery time is within a day. You call your order in and then it's delivered the next day. But we wanted to align ourselves with a company that is as innovative as Alive. You know, they're a young upstart company, and we just felt that we would want to be on board with a company that's doing big things in the Bahamas.
This is Get Me Ride. With our app, you easily sign up to ride and ride whenever you want. All of our drivers are certified taxi drivers. Add funds to your wallet and rate your drivers. Want to be a driver? Download Get Me Ride, the #1 transportation and taxi provider. Visit getmeride.org.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
With just days left before the official start of summer, it could only mean one thing. It's vacation time. Kicking up your feet with not a care in the world while your dream vacation is ideal. And with so many options to choose from, planning that dream getaway may not be the easiest thing to do. But in tonight's Who Do You Call segment, a popular travel blogger shares with our Cieska Adderley some tips on how to turn that ideal into a reality sooner than you think.
Taking a vacation is always a great idea, one that can put an instant smile on your face, but that smile could change if you ever become overwhelmed because you don't know where to start. Well, planning your next getaway should be something that you look forward to and not dreading. That's why I called Travel and lifestyle blogger Cherise Major to help me figure it all out. She gave me several tips, but the first being that you should plan a year ahead.
So when you plan a year in advance, you give yourself the opportunity to find cheap flights, inexpensive accommodations, as well as really good deals on attractions and any other things that you want to do in a destination. Also, when you plan in advance, you are able to create a really good budget, a snapshot of all of your expenses. And so when you do that, you get to say, how much money is it I'm going to save each month? For me, when I budget out my expenses for my travels, I say to myself, I can realistically save this amount, and then I look at what I can cut out of my budget, and I aggressively start to save for it.
Apart from advanced planning and setting a budget, Cherise suggests letting your credit cards work for you. She explains how you can do that.
I have a travel rewards credit card, and every time I swipe, I'm able to get travel points back. So I can use those points to get free hotels, free flights, and even car rentals, anything travel related.
We live in a technological age, so it should come as no surprise that the next tip Cherise is going to give us is to use technology.
There's one app in particular that I love. I'm able to plot in the dates of my vacation, and it says if this is the best time to buy my ticket, if I should wait 2 weeks, if I should wait a month, because I'll save like $200, $300.
Now, in order for you to get the most bang for your buck on your next vacation, Cherise is strongly urging you not to travel during peak season.
So airlines, they hike up their fares. Hotels, they do the same thing. And so when you travel in the high season, you're competing with millions of people to go to this one destination. So if you are able to, my recommendation is to travel in the lowest possible time of the season.
Now, if you follow these tips, Cherise believes that you're well on your way to enjoying your dream vacation. I would love to chat more, but I've got a flight to catch. If you have any other consumer-related issues, call me at 502-3871, and together we'll figure out who to call. C.F. Scatterly, ZNS Network News.
Some great tips there. Stay tuned. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, your news leader.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
There's only one place to find it all, and it's right here at the Builders Mall, where our friendly staff will provide you with everything your project needs.
From electrical supplies to lighting design.
An array of bathroom and plumbing fixtures.
Tools, lumber, shingles, and roofing materials.
Everything for the contractor.
Or the do-it-yourselfer. For the perfect finishing touch, it's the Paint Center.
For a rainbow worth of colors, try Valspar Premium Paint.
Along with Minmax stains to help you finish the job.
Come, stop by next door at Tile King.
And browse an exquisite selection of tiles from around the world.
Plus, granite countertops and medallions.
Setting materials and a full line of Ruby tools for the wall, floor, patio, or pool.
Our standard is superior customer service. And we are guaranteed to provide you with everything you need and more.
So don't waste time running from place to place.
Find it all at Builders Mall.
Every day you wake up with the world in the palm of your hand. Making connections and creating memories and sharing them with the people you care about. Every day the world is at your fingertips, and you can experience every blockbuster movie in stunning HD and top 100 Billboard music hit with the touch of a button. Every day, your family and friends are important to you, and staying in touch no matter where you are in the Bahamas or the world is your #1 priority. And that's why, every day for over 100 years, BTC has been there to ensure that every Bahamian has the best connection to the world. We cover every island, rock and key, regardless of the cost. This is BTC Country.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
The performance speaks for itself. Pennzoil Synthetics, made from natural gas. Make the switch.
It's time for a check of your weather forecast. We check in now with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Hi there, Basil.
Hi, Keisha. In our first look at weather, we're going to take a look at temperatures around the family of islands, and they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 84 degrees in Freeport, 84 also in Greenville, Key, and Abaco, Marsh Harbor, Abaco at 83 degrees. Here in the capital, 86. 82 degrees in Harbor Island, Eleuthera, Roxanne, Eleuthera, 82, Otterstown, Cat Island, also 82 degrees. Stanley Key at 84, 84 is also in Kemps Bay, St. Andrews, Fresh Creek and Central Andrews at 83 degrees. San Salvador, 82, also Rum Key at 82, Georgetown, Exuma as well. A little further south, taking you into Clarencetown, Long Island, more 82s, and that extends into Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 81, Acklands, 81, Ragged Island, 82 degrees, Matthewtown and Nagua, 84, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 81 degrees. Your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Pink Setter. In the northwest and central islands, winds southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your high tide, well, that will take place at 42 minutes past midnight. For the southeast Bahamas, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Tomorrow in the northwest and central islands, winds out of the southwest once again at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide, 7:16 in the morning. In the morning, the high tide will take place at 1:22 in the afternoon. For the southeastern islands tomorrow, winds light and variable, very flat seas at 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. And on Thursday, for the northwest and central Bahamas, the winds will also fall off to light and variable status. Wave heights flat at 1 to 3 feet over the ocean. Low tide 8:04 in the morning, high tide at 2:23 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas on Thursday, winds southeast at 10 to 15, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It is time now for your travel forecast, and your travel forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your travel forecast brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 20 minutes.
Welcome to Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Colon cancer is cancer of the large intestine or colon, the lower part of your digestive system. Rectal cancer is the cancer of the last several inches of the colon. Together, they're often referred to as colorectal cancers. Most cases of colon cancer begin as small, non-cancerous, benign clumps of cells called adenomatous polyps. Over time, some of these polyps become colon cancers. Polyps may be small and produce few, if any, symptoms. For this reason, doctors recommend regular screening tests to help prevent colon cancer by identifying polyps before they become colon cancer. Symptoms of colon cancer include a change in your bowel habits, including diarrhea or constipation, or a change in the consistency of your stool. rectal bleeding or blood in your stool, persistent abdominal discomfort such as cramps, gas, or pain, a feeling that your bowel doesn't empty completely, weakness or fatigue, unexplained weight loss. Talk to your doctor about when you should begin screening for colon cancer. Guidelines generally recommend colon cancer screenings begin at age 50. Your doctor may recommend more frequent or earlier screening if you have other risk factors such as a family history of the disease. This has been Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Live your best life by living well.
Business News, I'm C.S. Scatterly. Tourism and Aviation Minister Dionisio de Aguilar will lead the Bahamian delegation, including Director General Joy Jibleru and other representatives to the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Caribbean Week event in New York City. The CTO's major annual summit will take place from June 2nd to the 8th at the Wyndham New Yorker Hotel in Midtown. Tourism officials, industry professionals, media, students, and Caribbean consumers will gather to share and receive important updates on the state of tourism in the region and celebrate the sights, sounds, color, and culture of the Caribbean. In his final year as CTO chairperson, de Aguilar will speak to the current state of the travel industry throughout the Caribbean, providing updates on visitors, hurricane relief efforts, and new developments for travelers. In other business news, after a 10-day dry dock at the Grand Bahama shipyard, Princess Cruises' new and improved Crown Princess is ready to rejoin the fleet. The luxury liner was docked in Freeport, Grand Bahama last month for extensive upgrades as part of the company's $450 million investment in improving their flagship vessels. Enhancements carried out at the GB shipyard.
Joy has something new in store for you. For even longer-lasting suds, a more powerful clean, and a delightful new scent, try Joy Orange. Try it now, and you could win a trip for two to Vegas, a trip for two to Orlando, or $1,000 cash. Just buy two 30-ounce bottles of Joy Orange and take your receipt to purchase on Robinson Road. Try Joy Orange and enter to win today. Promotion ends June 22nd.
Life happens, and when it does, FG Insurance Agents and Brokers is here. We help you protect the assets you've worked hard to attain. We offer home, auto, marine, commercial, and liability insurance. Don't hesitate to protect what matters with FG Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit us and speak to your agent today, or call us at 396-1490 in Nassau or 688-1500 in Freeport.
Mario thought he could have his cake and eat it too. He almost found out the hard way that if you don't insure your home for the full replacement value, when it comes time to make a claim, you won't get the full payout. It's called the condition of average. If your $200,000 home is destroyed by a hurricane, but you only insured it for $100,000, half the value, you'll only get half of that $100,000 payout. Actually, less than that, because there's also a deductible which will be deducted from your payout. Check your home insurance policy for the condition of average clause and ask your insurance agent or broker how condition of average would affect you. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Clean clothes for the family, uniforms for the baby, suit for mommy and daddy. We wash it, super to clean the super. If you wanna look fly and you wanna look clean, if you wanna look fresh, better than all the rest. Bring all your church clothes and all your work clothes. Bring all your church clothes. Super wash.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Kelsey Johnson. Welcome to Sports Tuesday. It's about to get a little hotter in the Bahamas. The Miami Heat basketball organization is expected to turn up the heat when they return to the court for preseason training. Here's Amajal Knowles with the play-by-play breakdown.
Mega Resort getting some major praise as it plays host to some top executives of a major basketball organization. Miami executive staff holding an exclusive team dinner at the Bahama Resort last evening, and Vice President of Corporate Sponsorship Chris Maragano says he's been blown away at the level of service at the resort.
A new resort, and we're very excited to be here, and everybody here is extremely impressed with everything that's happening. So we've been people on the beach, at the pool, enjoying the spa, and we actually, some people have even asked me for the fish fry. So, that's where I want to be. But we'll do that another time. But this has been a really 5-star experience for us.
Maragano adding that the team values its long-standing relationship with the Bahamas, as evidenced by years of collaboration.
Bahamas, we feel, have really embraced us as the organization, as fans, and supported us, and we like to support this community as well. So from our head coach to our players, they all enjoy coming here. They enjoy coming to training camp here the last couple of over the last few years, and we will be back here for training camp at some point. That has really brought it to a level that is really high on our list. So when we're thinking about entertaining our clients, we think about the Bahamas. When we're thinking about working with the tourism office and developing programs for our fans to come to the Bahamas, it just makes total sense because of the proximity and everything that you guys have to offer.
Now for the big question, how soon could it be that we see an NBA game played on Bahamian soil? Well, Maragano saying it's in the realm of possibility. Preseason or exhibition game?
It's not out of the possibility that something like that could happen down the road, but that would have to be a major collaboration with another team, the NBA as well, and who knows? It could be something that we look forward to in the near future. Who knows?
From a basketball standpoint, for all of you Heat fans out there, Maragano saying that despite the first round ousting this year, the team expects to be back and better next year and plans to be a major contender. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Thank you so much, Amajal. Sloop sailing can arguably be the biggest sporting event which brings Bahamians together, no matter where they are held. The unwavering support shown at the various regattas has prompted Minister with responsibility for regattas, the Honorable Wenwood Wells, to use the technology, creating ways for all to be a part of the festivities.
We are headed in a direction where regattas will be brought into the living rooms, sports bar, tablets, laptops, and cell phones of our people and the people around the globe. We are serious about our commitments to regatta, and I have heard nothing but good things about this video live streaming technical addition to the regatta here in Long Island.
Echoing the words of Minister Wells, who is responsible for regattas, Deputy Prime Minister the Honorable Peter Turnquest reaffirmed the government's commitment to making regatta the national sport of the Bahamas.
I want to assure Long Islanders and regatta enthusiasts throughout this country of the continued commitment of the government to supporting these cultural events. We understand that sailing is a very important part of not only who we are, but into the livelihood and the economic well-being of these communities. And so we are committed to supporting them. And as the minister indicated, we are giving very serious commitment and I believe favorable attention to making sloop sailing the national sport of the Bahamas, as it rightly should be.
South Andros Regatta will not be left out when this initiative is implemented. Our Charles Fisher was in the Big Yard on the weekend catching the waves at the annual South Andros Regatta. Here's his report.
A low tide forcing the C-class sloops to sail out 3 of their series races in one day. Defending champ Revelation 319 taking 2 of the 3 to repeat with Clay Moxie aboard the tiller.
In 2 years in a row, I thank God that I was able to hold the floating trophy for last year and this year, and I'm hoping to hold it again next year.
Teamwork put together, we done it by teamwork. Without teamwork, we couldn't do it at all. So we have to thank all of the skippers who was involved with sailing, and that's what makes us so great today.
The other series race in Class C was taken by Bull Raleigh, whose crew Calvin Lloyd and Derek Taylor felt they let this one slip away.
I was supposed to win 2 out of 3 races, but he held me on the last race, so thank my skipper, it's a captain. He did a wonderful job.
The boats are good today, and I think next year, when we come back, we'll give them more competition.
Richard Anson Sally, the beast from the east, pulling in third.
We had a lot of problems from the start. My boat sunk in Pine Grove Key, and getting it back on track was very difficult, but we pulled it through. We break a rigging from the race start, but we still do it. You know, I'm happy, I'm pleased.
Weather on sea was perfect for the E-Class. They sailed 2 on Friday and 1 on Saturday, and nothing changed from race to race, with Lloyd Sands skippering Judgment Day to wins in all 3.
Yeah, it was a good race too. We had 2 good days of sailing, beautiful weather, and the boat performed pretty well.
Now, while the grown-ups were having fun on the seas, one thing is for sure, the kids sure had a ball on the line. For Edna's Told Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
Thank you so much, Fisher. The work is not done for the country's water polo teams. The 3 gold medals won at the Carifta Water Polo Championships was just the beginning for the squads who are preparing for international competition.
We're going to participate in the Sunshine State game, which will be held in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, just days before El Salvador. So the team gonna go to Fort Lauderdale, will participate in an American competition, turn around, fly down to El Salvador, hopefully qualify, come home. That's what I like to see.
It takes dedication, hard work, and commitment to become a professional athlete. That's why Coach Trevano Mackey is making sure that those swimmers in his club make a splash every day.
We always speak about morning practices, getting up at 5 o'clock before school. Some kids are in the water before school. After school, they're in the water until the sun goes down. So it takes a lot of hard training. And some kids are doing very, very, very well. We are getting prepared also for CCCAN. That's coming up after Nationals. So this summer is very, very, very huge for some swimmers. And yeah, just the hard training, the hard work pays off.
The Bahamas is one of a few countries in the Caribbean that can brag about having more than 15 professional baseball players. This number can increase in the next few days as the Major League Baseball draft is underway. So far, no Bahamians have been selected. However, moving up the ranks was Anthony Seymour. He was called up on Saturday to play in the Double-A. Well, that's all the time we have for sports. I'm Kelsey Johnson.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are. There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evo.
What's a smart way to refresh your home this season? Get inspired by Carpet and Cabinet World. See how easy it is to transform your living room and kitchen with our wide variety of flooring and cabinet options. We offer top quality in the latest styles in ceramic, porcelain, and wood. Did you know we're also fully stocked with state-of-the-art forward horizontal blinds? Stop by Cabinet World to explore the exciting possibilities with our customized cabinetry to suit your budget, style, and taste. Carpet and Cabinet World. We make it happen. Get your free quote today.
Buy Pampers and you can pin it to win it. Guess how many diaper pins are on display at Pritchard's? You could win up to $2,000 for the closest guess. Buy Pampers and pin it to win it today.
Starting June 14th, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas proudly presents the exciting games of the FIFA World Cup 2018 live from Russia. Watch all the thrilling action as 32 teams play for 64 heart-stopping matches in 11 different Russian cities until the sensational final match on July 15th in Moscow for the coveted place in the 2021 FIFA Confederations Cup competition. Tune into ZNS TV this June for the FIFA World Cup 2018 live from Russia, and be sure to contact your ZNS account executive or the ZNS sales office at 502-3800 to book your special FIFA World Cup 2018 sponsorship package.
I dreamt of you as a little girl. I didn't know if I would ever find you. But I knew it from the moment I laid eyes on you. That you were perfect for me. Today, I marry my best friend. Today, I marry you. I began my happily ever after at Platinum Bride Couture.
Hank Johnson. Now that Bahamas residents can fly or cruise free to the family islands, what are your summer vacation plans?
We're going to Neutral.
And there is no better time than now with the 2 Fly or Cruise Free promotion, where all residents of the Bahamas can fly or cruise free to the family islands from Nassau. Refresh, reconnect, and unwind in the family islands. For details, go to bahamasresidents.com and fly or cruise free to the family islands today.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather 5 days into the tropical cyclone season, the tropics remain quiet. On the home front, though, we have this low-level trough which has moved into the southeast Bahamas, and that has left behind a bit of clearing over the central and northwestern islands. But because of the very light winds and hot temperatures, you can expect some pop-up showers occasionally in the northwest and central Bahamas over the next couple of days. Tonight, though, we're going in for partly cloudy conditions with a shower or two in the northwest Bahamas, the low temperature getting down to 76 degrees, and tomorrow we're looking at a mix of cloud and sunshine. High temperature once again near 88 degrees, and your extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, an abundance of sunshine in the forecast with those pop-up showers, as we said, because of the very warm temperatures leading us right into the weekend. It seems as though on Sunday we'll increase that percentage of precipitation for you, but until then you're going to have some summer-like weather with temperatures near the 90-degree mark during the daytime.
Yeah, it's getting up there, Baz.
Absolutely.
A little too steamy.
And summer is still about 16 days away, at least the official start of summer, and we're already getting these high 80s.
The same type of weather.
Get ready. That does it for us in the Bahamas tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, thanks so much for looking in. Have a good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, The People's Station.